If your students freeze the moment that numbers are wrapped in words, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Michelle from Thinking Math Corner, and I help middle and high school math teachers build student thinkers through productive struggle, not memorization. Now, as math teachers, we all know that one surefire way to lose students or to cause them to freeze when you're introducing a concept is to give them a word problem. They look at the words like they've never seen them before. They look at the numbers and don't know what to do with them. But most word problem struggles aren't about the math skills at all. They're about knowing where to begin. Today, I want to show you a repeatable structure to understand any and all math word problems. And this structure depends on no tricks, no keywords, and no additional work on your behalf. So we all know what normally happens. Students have a word problem put in front of them, and they look at the words and they try to decode the word. First of all, we're dealing with reading discrepancies. Then they look at the words and they don't know how they fit together. They go, well, maybe if I take all of the numbers and I do this one operation that maybe we've been working on, that will give me the right answer and the teacher will leave me alone. It becomes sort of like a scavenger hunt. Let's hunt for the right word or the keyword and let's guess what's going to happen. And frankly, when that guess fails, they feel like they failed. From a student's perspective, word problems are like a riddle that they're trying to guess the solution. While this response to word problems tends to get labeled as carelessness, laziness, lack of motivation, it's often because students don't have a structure for how to make sense of word problems. And so they depend on a translation of words. Most word problem strategies depend on a set of steps. And steps aren't bad. They just need to be put in place at the right time. If students don't understand what's happening, more steps won't help. They just add more noise to the problem. So one of the things we need to focus on is making sense of the problem of the context before we even touch the math. And this is what I call sense making before symbol making. Once we understand the word problem, then we can compact what's happening in the word problem into those symbols in math that we use to describe the different operations. So when I'm dealing with word problems, I teach students a structure called think before you solve. And think is an acronym. Now, this structure is not meant to be a checklist that's followed perfectly. It's just meant to be a starting point for sense making and discovering the relationship between what's happening in the word problem. It's before you touch the math. So T is for text and context. What's happening in the word problem? What do we need to find? How do things unroll in the word problem? We're not dealing with any numbers at the moment. H is for how the quantities relate. What's the connection between them? What are we being asked to find? What's the unknown, in other words? Students identify the goal, not the operation. I is for illustrate. I cannot overemphasize the value of a sketch. It does not have to be a great sketch, but it does have to show what's happening in the word problem so that students can make sense of what they're being given, what's happening in the word problem, and what they need to find and the relationship between those things. This sketch results in external thinking, showing the thinking outside of our body, outside of our brain. N is our number sense reasoning. Do the numbers make sense? Should one be smaller, one be bigger? Is one being negative a problem? Does it make sense in the situation? This checks thinking over speed. The last of the think acronym is the K, and that's deciding on a known strategy. Our students have a plethora of strategies to pull from. And so once we understand what's happening in the situation, we need to start pulling strategies that make sense based on our understanding conceptually of the operations. It's important to note that strategies are a result of the thinking. They're not the starting point. I'm not teaching each step here in this video. I just want to give you an overview so that you see the order that things are approached, so that word problem becomes sense making before symbol making. This think before you solve framework really goes beyond grade levels and levels of math talent in students. These strategies can be used at all grade levels with all students, and really should be. If you want to delve further into word problems and what the problems are, how students interact with those problems, what the actions are that students take that help us diagnose what's happening, and how to deal with those. You're going to want to check one of the two videos that are on the screen. These give us additional information and help us to apply these strategies effective tomorrow with no changing of lesson plans or having a different curriculum. These are strategies that we should be applying in every classroom with every student.